Hey, good day, everybody. Welcome back to our Working Together series, live with Rabbi Carmi Ingber out of the Nativ Zoom room from Houston, Texas. And we're just waiting on Rabbi Ingber to show up. So let's just pop in and see how Rod Bryant down at Nativ's doing in Houston, Texas. Rod, shalom, shalom. So good to be with you.
Shalom.
You're live on the Noahide World Center social media. If you tell us, how are things going down in Texas with Nativ?
Fantastic. Things are going really well. Just actually today, I was leaving an establishment and one of our members was standing there. And she introduced me to a couple who was very much interested in the what Noahides are about. What's the whole concept about? We continually get inquiries from the internet and from text of people that are interested in knowing more about expanding their level of learning and study. And so we're just really happy that Nativ can play a small part in the larger world exploration of the wisdom of Torah. And we get to experience that and participate in it. So it's very exciting. Very exciting.
It's so good to hear. I mean, yeah. I've been reaching out to anybody on the Noahide World Center Facebook page, YouTube page, trying to answer questions and chit chat myself. And occasionally we've been picking up more people down your way. And I always invite them to this class, and maybe if they're in your area, they can connect with real people. And it just makes all the difference, no doubt. But definitely Texas is a hotbed for growth.
Well, I tell you, I still hear the messages from people. I've got one this morning from a husband and wife who have been following the path of righteous non-Jew for years. And they're just feeling the pain of being alone, not having any type of relationships and some type of social network system. Unless you move to a Jewish community or move to where there are other Noahides, you're just not going to happen. So, but I think that is the, what you call it? That is the muzzle. Yeah. That's the muzzle of the Noahide for right now. And the non-Jew who is trying to
this
find
sounds like
place.
my topic here today.
Well, Rabbi Ingber's here. All right. So I'm going to
just... Good. You bring me in this topic. Yeah, continue.
Good. We're just winding you up, getting you ready.
Great. Okay.
Okay, Rabbi Ingber, we're going to turn it over to you since you're the rabbi, and we look forward to hearing what you have to share. And we know it'll be wide open for Q&A after the rabbi shares a short message. So if you're listening and you've got any questions, feel free to type them in the chat room, and I'll try my best to get it to Rabbi Ingber himself. So, Rabbi, please take it away.
Okay, I'd like, let me see, good to see everybody. Yeah, okay, see people. All right, good to see you all. I said I want to hear the topic you were talking about because it sounded very interesting. So, and I'll tell you why, because I really wanted to hear your input. I got to hear, I was asking my wife, what you're talking about today is called Tu B'Shvat tonight. It's a minor holiday, very, very deep things to understand about that. And then I look at some of the news in the world, and every time I do, I'm like, there's a lot of things to explain here. So I want to hear from you. So maybe, Rod, if you can catch me up what you guys were talking about, I'd like to actually give my input on that, and we'll jump off from there.
Excellent. I was just saying, we were talking about how there is a broadening of the Noahide community, or those that are interested in improving themselves and coming to Torah and to enjoy the benefits of the wisdom of Torah, whether they're non-Jews or Jews. Nativ is here trying to help get people to where they should be. And, this community has helped Jews to do tshuva and to return and live observant life. And so this is a big thing. But at the same time, we still have the issue that Noahides out there are, in essence, sort of in their own little exile. They don't have
longing for community, for sure.
Longing for community, longing for people to take them in, longing to study with a Jewish community. And I feel bad for them because there's hardly no answer unless they move, unless they go somewhere.
So let me respond to what you're saying, because I'm very, very happy, because sometimes, when I teach and speak a lot of times, so sometimes I'll say something I had in the synagogue a lot. I would say a speech, a Dvar Torah, and people would say, wow, that was exactly what I was going through in my life. And I said, the truth is, I didn't even know I was going to say it until about 2 minutes before I said it. So it must have popped in my head because of your merit. So the fact that you're asking this question, I think that it's something that has to be understood. And if we understand it, we will actually be comforted. We'll know our place. We'll know where we're at, and we'll be able to be wise in the next steps. So the truth is, what you're saying, as I think about it, the Noahide movement, although it is the oldest of movements, it is from Noah. I mean, from Adam, from Noah. I mean, we're talking about not about a new movement. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the way the world was structured from the very beginning of time. That there was an approach for Adam, an approach for Noah. Noah is a rebuilding of the world. It's not an accident. The world was destroyed. Whatever, foolish people want to talk about, let's talk about the science of it. Okay, we can talk about it. But the depth of understanding is that the reality is the world was destroyed. There was a new beginning. So we're talking about the very, very, beginning of time. Now, what Adam was and Adam's level of service and what he's supposed to do, the deeper reality is that way with the Jewish people took Adam and the Noahites took Noah, and the whole world had like two buildings. The very beginning, it's Adam, and Noah is from Adam, but then the world was destroyed, and Noah became the new leader of the world in that sense. And it reflects the Jewish mission and the mission of the nations. That's why it's B'nai Noach, and Avraham really becomes Adam, which I'll explain at some other point what that means. But I realized when you asked the question, the answer was happening. And I told you this once before. I looked up years ago, and it's so amazing that this happened to open up to me. I was in a synagogue in Jerusalem, and as is the way, you're always in Jerusalem, you're always learning. You always got a book. You're learning something. You're connecting. So I walked into the synagogue. There was a book there, and I had a minute. I opened the book, opened the Sefer, and the question was, and I repeated this to you before, but I want you to understand it more. I understand myself more. The question was, if the Jews have a commandment to be a light unto nations, as we see the prophets are saying, why aren't they openly going out and being a light unto nations? It's a fantastic question. This was a halachic question. This was a great rabbi. It should be well. He's a great sage in Israel. He was once the sandik to hold one of my children as they had the bris milah, had the circumcision. And he says, because for years we're in the world of the nations persecuting us, and there was no ability to talk because there was no one willing to listen. And so the question is, has the world changed? Has the world changed? And the answer is that partially yes and partially no. Partially it's gotten worse, right? I just saw somebody, post this thing. And I was thinking what to speak to you about, but I saw them post this anti-Semitic thing that was put on the doorstep of somebody that I know. And it was unbelievable. I just saw the post of this thing, and it was incredible. It was incredible. I mean, it was the hatred, the oozing, and the taking the Talmud out of the context of understanding it and turning it into something evil was unbelievable. It was a real skill of a person filled with a lot of hate. So the question is that if there's no one to speak to, how do you speak? How can you be a light unto nations if nobody wants to hear what is being said? And that's where the people here in this group and other people that Ra is talking about represent a different mindset. It's now all of a sudden there are some in the nations who are hearing. And then it comes the point I want you to understand. The reason why this is new, even though it's the oldest thing, is because it comes on the heels of Mashiach. That's what it means. When the world starts, what is the concept of Mashiach? People don't understand it at all and have made it into religions and other things. But Mashiach is a part of a process. It's not the end of the process. It's part of the process. It's the process where all of the world will realize that Hashem is God, that there's one God, one benevolent source, nothing else. And everyone realizes it. And there's no point in wars because what are you fighting about? What is it? With your territory? You think this is Russia, this is Ukraine? Well, yeah, there is territories, right? The world was given. There were 70 nations. They each had a territory. And the Jewish nation is the land of Israel. That's the way the world was built. And therefore, if the world has the clarity, when it has the clarity, that it realizes there's a creator of the world. Oh, now it's a little confusing today because we're all confused. Well, what nation am I from? You know, who knows? You know, America, in my opinion, is largely hinted at in an incredible discussion in the War of Abraham with the 5 kings against the 4 kings, because the 4 kings parallel the 4 exiles. And the last of them is called Tid'ol Melech Goyim. Tid'ol, he was called the king of nations. Goyim is the term for nation. And with all the hatred and misunderstandings, I want to explain the word goy. The word goy means a nation. So everyone is a goy. The Jewish people are a goy, called a goy kadosh, a holy nation. Every nation is called a goy nation. So everyone has their 70 boundaries. Why is there going to be war? There won't. Because if you see the truth, you see the truth. So the story here, what you're saying, Rod, and this is where I'm going to comfort and maybe extrapolate a little bit. The reason why it's lonely is because you're kind of in the forefront of the people that you represent. There it is, you know.
You know,
People-
Rabbi,
People understand. Yeah.
I've told people when they say, "Oh, it feels lonely," I feel isolated, and I'll go, "Welcome to the world of Yiddishkeit. They have been dealing with this for 3,000 years. You want to join into Torah, you want to join into the follows of the Jewish people, you're going to have to spend some time exiled in your own world. And that's part of our spiritual development.
That's a very interesting way to look at it. It's very interesting. I hear what you're saying. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating way to look at it. I'm going to say another thing, which I believe to be true. I also believe that with all of the, you want to look at anything in the world and see the good that comes out of it, that God intends for it. And often you can't, sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't see. But one of the things of Corona is the ability to have this discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And to understand, I don't think, those who know and those who are in Florida and would like to meet, we are in Florida for this purpose. One of the things, we're speaking at synagogues, and we're also looking to connect with people that are Bnei Noach here in the world, because I don't think that my answer is not just, well, sorry you're lonely. No, this is part of a process. And because it's part of a process, let's take the next steps. So the good news is, and I want to hear from you all now, and I'm going to kind of say this as the thought, and then I want to hear from you all to be able to know how to respond. I'm not really seeing faces. I don't know if that's I'm on my phone, not my computer, because we just arrived in a new place. So the point I want you to understand, get some faces, fantastic, great, right, very good. Because then you're talking to people. I don't know what I'm talking. It's like I'm in Facebook world. There's no human beings. So okay, so great. Oh, such smiling, beautiful faces. Now I want to see everybody. Okay, so what am I saying to you all here? The reality is that the world has been in a place of darkness for a long time. It's reality. Rod brought up, well, how come Noachites are realizing it and it's lonely? Because it comes at the time of Mashiach, times of Mashiach. If those who are learning the Torah portion, it's literally a parallel to what happened in Egypt. Do you know that in Egypt, the mixed multitudes, the Egyptians wanted to come out with the Jews? There were more Egyptians, according to many explanations in the deeper writings that explain there were more Egyptians that were coming out and connecting to the Jewish people than the Jewish people themselves. And that's one of the things Pharaoh was freaked out about. He was like, there's a revolution happening. These people are seeing the truth. And it's not just the Jews, it's people in his own nation. That gets him scared. You know, the social, you know, the filtering, the monitoring, the mind control that's happening in America right now, happening in the world right now. It's scary. It's scary because when people start to see and understand things, so people have other agendas, get very excited and get very nervous and don't want that. So I feel and I empathize with the statement of like, I want you all to have a community. You know, my community, you know, I recently retired as the rabbi in Atlanta, and it was called the Kehillah. The Kehillah means the community. Those of you who like music, I don't know what age group I have here, but one of my favorite groups was called The Band. So as a kid, it was like, what's the name of the group? The Band. They were just the band. So I called the shul the community, the Kehillah, because there was something else, being able to connect with people. You can't substitute computer for human interaction. The power of people that you feeling something about them. So I do empathize, and that is one of the things I'm trying to do to go around America and to help and to build that. But you should be happy and feel that, wow, so if I am part of something that's starting where I'm seeing and I'm understanding something, that's amazing. You know, the one thing you know about every great theory that was ever taught any place, the only thing you know about it is that before it was accepted, everyone believed it was wrong, right? But they said the earth revolves around the sun. So until that point, science said, you're crazy. Or religion, whoever was saying it. It wasn't in Torah, it didn't say it in Torah, but whoever said, oh, because everyone else was wrong. So to be at the cusp of that is an incredible thing. And that's why it says, Abraham was called Avraham HaIvri, Abraham the Hebrew. But what does the Hebrew mean? I don't know what it means even. Okay, Hebrew, what does that mean? The word Ivri is the word to over, to go to the other side. He came from the other side. There's the Jordan River, he came from the other side. Okay, but the deeper meaning is he was on the other side. Everyone in the world said the world is random. It sounds pretty familiar. The world is evil. The world, people are evil. The world is just power and control. That's what Pharaoh was about. He wanted to have the power and control. That's all he was about. There was that. And then there was one person, the other side, saying, no, there is one creator who creates and controls everything. And he loves the creations he created, and he created them for a purposeful thing. That's why he did it, to give them this incredible gift he wants to give them. And so therefore, there's a goodness in the world, and you have to see it. So that's why it's called Avram Ivri, Abraham on the other side of the world, other side. Everyone's against him. So welcome to the world of those who take a stand on things that are true. That's my thought, and I want to hear you.